So, hi guys, it's been a month. I'm sorry for being crap and not making a video before now, but today's video follows on quite nicely from the last non-vegan friends and family update I did at Christmas because I touched on this subject. And it's quite a controversial subject. I think when you're a vegan, it's something that we all have to deal with, and that is sitting and eating with the non-vegan friends and family in our life while they're eating animals. Now, since I became vegan, it's been over 2 years for me. I definitely didn't feel this way as a new vegan, but kind of the more activism I've done and the more of the victims, more of the animals that I've seen when I've been at saves, the stronger my feeling about this has become. In talking about this, I also need to bring up the Liberation Pledge, which for any of you watching is a public pledge. I'm going to put the link below in the description box, and it will take you to a website, and there are 3 parts to the pledge. The first one is to publicly refuse to eat animals, so live vegan, which I think most of you watching do that already. The second part is to publicly refuse to sit with those while they eat animals. And actually on the website, it says publicly refuse to sit where they serve animals, which for me, I think would be quite limiting because it suggests that you can only go to all vegan places, which I live in Yorkshire. There aren't really that many vegan places around me within an hour. So that would be really, really hard. But there's lots of places that have vegan options. And the third part of the pledge is to encourage others around you to take the pledge. Now, there are a lot of vegans who really disagree with the Liberation Pledge, and a couple of weeks ago, James Aspey was in Manchester, and he came over and went to some vigils with Save Movement Scotland, and he gave this really great talk in Manchester that I went to see, and at the end of his talk, he was taking questions from the audience, and someone asked him, "What do you think, James, about sitting and eating with people while they eat dead animals?" And I completely disagreed with his answer, but I didn't want to put my hand up and start disagreeing with him because I didn't think there was any point. And, you know, vegans are going to feel differently about this subject, and that's okay. But he said he thinks that sitting and eating with someone while they eat an animal is like a great time to talk to them about veganism, and that you can show them how great your vegan food is and they can feel jealous about it and then want to eat your food. I kind of get what he's coming at a little bit, but from my experience, sitting and eating with someone while they're eating a dead animal is possibly the worst time you could choose to bring up veganism with them, because they're actually committing the terrible act right then and there. So if you try and challenge them about it, or you try and get them thinking about why they're eating dead animals, they're actually doing it. So they're going to be the most defensive they can possibly be in that moment. So I didn't really agree with his reasoning. But, you know, it's quite divided on this in the YouTube scene, and just generally when you talk to vegans about it anyway. So I haven't officially taken the Liberation Pledge. I haven't been onto the website. I haven't, you know, clicked and signed up, but I've noticed that quite a few of my vegan Facebook friends have. And I think the reason for that is because it gives you an opportunity to kind of publicly broadcast to everyone on your friends list that you're not going to sit and eat with them if they eat dead animals anymore, which I get. As I haven't taken the pledge officially, for me, it happened quite naturally. I think the last time I sat with someone while they ate the body of an animal or animal products would have been around 9 months ago. That's my estimation. I think it was about 9 months ago. And it was with my father, actually. That was the last time I did it. And I asked him not to eat the body of an animal, and he ordered the body of a lamb anyway. And it really upset me, and I thought about it a lot afterwards, and I thought, I don't have to do this anymore. And I did try and have a real conversation with him about it, and we're sitting at the table, and it just came to nothing. So I realised that if this upset me so much, I would have to take a stand about it. And I'd also really thought about why it was important to me, which I'm going to go through in this video. So my experience of this so far, of not sitting with non-vegan friends and family while they eat the body of an animal or animal products. So if they don't eat vegan food, I won't sit and eat with them. The reaction to this from friends has been generally fine. Friends for me, have been much more accepting and much more understanding and much more open to just eating vegan food, because at the end of the day, it's not really that hard to just sit and eat vegetables, is it? No. But family, unfortunately, are an entirely different kettle of fish. They tend to be much more stubborn, and they have been in my life. And since I last ate with my father 9 months ago while he ate the body of a lamb, and then I let him know afterwards that I wasn't going to sit and eat with anyone while they ate the body of an animal, I haven't eaten with him. So we haven't actually sat down and had a meal since then, which is quite dramatic. It's definitely upset people in my family, including my brothers and my mum, which is a shame, but it's just the way it is. So friends, fine about it. Family, a different way. Maybe that's been your experience too. Family tend to be more stubborn. A lot of people, when you try and talk to them about this who aren't vegan, they're not really going to understand straight away. It's going to be like this alien concept. It's going to be really hard to get your point across. And I know, and this is probably quite sad to admit, but I know I'll actually never sit and eat with certain family members again because they won't just eat vegan. And you know, saying that's quite disappointing, but it's something that I accept because it's important to me. And I want to explain to you guys why this is something I feel so strongly about. And that's because I think something that comes into this from being an activist is that you have to really consider an element of care, of self-care in particular. Because when you're going out and you're doing activism and you're putting yourself in really difficult, emotionally draining situations where you're seeing the animals being sent to slaughter and you can't do anything about it, frankly, except talk about it, you know, share footage on social media, it's going to have an effect on you in a big way. And for me, doing that as often as I do each week, and then having to go and sit with friends and family while they eat the body of those animals that I could have borne witness to, is just the most horrific thing I could imagine. And it's something that I realised I couldn't do anymore, and that was really important for my mental health. So I touched on this before when I mentioned James Aspey, but you know, really trying to talk to someone while they're eating dead animals about eating dead animals is really ineffective. So ineffective. If you've had a different experience of this and you've found that you've talked to a non-vegan while they've been eating the body of an animal, and then they've turned around to you during that conversation and said, you know, that makes total sense. I don't feel defensive about this at all. Let me know in the comments, but I find that really unlikely to have happened. And then I started asking myself some questions that were quite difficult to ask myself, and they were all based around speciesism. Now, the truth is, when we become vegan, we don't just automatically stop being speciesist. You know, we're so conditioned from a young age to be speciesist, to look at certain animals, you know, differently. We look at certain animals as being edible, for example, certain animals as being inedible, which Melanie Joy explains really well when she discusses carnism in Why We Love Dogs, Eat Pigs and Wear Cows. Really recommend that book. It's great. And it kind of goes into exactly why we've been raised not to eat dogs and cats in the UK, for example, but why we've been raised to think it's okay to eat pigs, cows, chickens, fish. And so I started asking myself, would I sit with someone while they ate the body of a dog? Would I sit with someone while they ate the body of a cat? Which horrified me even more because I'm a massive cat lover and we share our house with cats. And then I, you know, to take it to more of an extreme, I asked myself, would I sit with someone while they ate the body of a human baby? Because most of the animals that are slaughtered to be eaten are babies still. And obviously, if you asked a non-vegan that, would you sit and eat with someone while they ate the body of a human baby? They'd think you were crazy. But it's not really that crazy, actually. So if I wouldn't sit with someone while they ate a dog, a cat, or a human baby, why would I, you know, conceive of sitting with them while they ate a pig, a cow, a duck, any other animal? You know, it is speciesist. And I think as vegans, it's really important that we challenge that within ourselves because nobody else is going to. So we have to ask ourselves these questions and really face it and confront it. And that's quite a hard thing to do. Also facing the conditioning we've all gone through about edible and inedible animals, which I've mentioned already. And something that kind of horrified me the more I thought about it was that every time I sat down with a non-vegan and I, you know, sat there quite silently and didn't talk about them eating the body of a dead animal or an animal product, because to me dairy and eggs are just as bad because they're just as cruel as flesh, I realised that I was silently saying to them, I accept what you do. Now, some vegans would argue with that and say, no, just because you sit and eat with them doesn't mean you accept it. But actually, it does. And ask yourself this, would you sit and eat with someone who was really outlandishly racist? Probably not, right? Because it's not socially acceptable. But it is socially acceptable to be speciesist now. Would you sit and eat with someone who was really outlandishly homophobic? Probably not, because it's not considered acceptable in society to be homophobic. But to sit and eat with someone while they eat the body of an animal is so commonplace. And again, this is something that I feel we need to challenge in ourselves. And if we don't do it as vegans, no one else is gonna. So I realise that some of you watching this as vegans might not be vegans who are active, and maybe after watching this video, you're thinking, hey, I don't want to get into activism because then I won't be able to sit with my non-vegan friends and family while they eat animals. And to that, I have to say, that's an ignorance is bliss philosophy. You know, you're not going and doing activism. You're not putting yourself in the position where you bear witness to animals and you see how horrific it is. And it is traumatic and it is horrible. But it's better to be aware. And I'd always say that. And being aware, being truly aware, you have to be quite strong in your character, because you have to be able to come away from that awareness and then apply it in other parts of your life. And I actually have an example from today, which is I was supposed to be seeing my family and they were supposed to be coming over and we were all meant to be going out to dinner. And this is some of my family on my dad's side, because I've got a massive extended family on my dad's side. Most of the time I don't really see them, but because it's been a while, we're going to see them, or we're supposed to be. And I sent a text message to my cousin and explained that if we, you know, go out to eat with them, because Andrew and I both feel as strongly about this, that we, you know, would only sit and eat with them if they ate the vegan food choices. And bear in mind, we were going to a place where there were, you know, there's a plethora of vegan food choices. It's not like there's one dish and it's crap. There's lots of really delicious options. And in response, it was unfortunately that they didn't want to eat with us because they didn't want to eat vegan food. And that's happened more than once in the last 9 months. And I expect it will keep happening. And for me, yeah, I guess it's a sacrifice you make, and it takes a strong person to do that, but I don't regret it. And right now I'm not thinking, oh, I really wish I'd just said I'd sit and eat with my family while they ate dead animals. I don't at all. And I don't regret the activism I take part in. So if you're watching this as a vegan who's never been to a save, but, you know, never been to a vigil, never been to bear witness, do go. Because when you're actually talking to the non-vegans in your life, you have so much more conviction in what you're saying because you've seen them. And ignorance is definitely not bliss. And because you're vegan, you know that, because you've learned about the industries and you've changed. So to conclude, I'd say whatever you decide about sitting and eating with non-vegans while they eat dead animals or not, make sure that you've really thought about it. Make sure that you've really asked yourself some of those questions that I've mentioned in this video about whether you'd be happy to sit and eat with someone while they ate a dog or a cat. Face the speciesist in you, because it's really important that we do. We don't become vegan and instantly stop being speciesist. It's so embedded in us. And we have to continually keep challenging it. So that's it for today, guys. See you the next time.
So is this better value for money than get it from a supermarket?
Yeah, I think this works out at about 40p a litre if you're making it from home.
Okay.
And the cool thing about this is that a lot of the ones from the
Because I really find them uncomfortable, but needs must. And I officially have a proper bump now. I think, yeah, during the first trimester, you couldn't see at all.